All right. Oh, I don't know if you can hear my cat, but he's here meowing already. So, welcome to the Leo season workshop. Um, Thank you for being here, first of all, and for investing your time and your energy and your money into these workshops, these programs. We're super grateful, and I have a pretty big team of people that you're also supporting. So, I love that. We also had our official opening to Wheelhouse recently, which a lot of you were actually at, which was interesting. A lot of people flew in for it, which was mind blowing. And we had, I think we stopped counting. There was one evening and then one full day. So we had Friday night and then Saturday day and Saturday evening. And we stopped counting on like the little clicker when we got to like 750 people. So there was like at least 750 people there, which is crazy. There was two lineups down the block. So thank you guys for sharing all of that. Thank you for supporting the Wheelhouse Instagram. If you guys are in Lisbon or Portugal, come visit us, come say hi. I do live workshops there. We have a salt cave, a tea lounge, a cafe. We have tons of stuff, treatments, like it's amazing. So yeah, thank you guys for all of your support, because those of you who invest into yourself by investing into these workshops and programs, that money has come to me and has now gone back out into this beautiful project, which is like a beacon of light and a community center. It's a social wellness club. So yeah, just thank you guys so much for all that you have done and given me so that I can give back. And it's just this really cool, like reciprocal nature. And I don't know why I felt the need to start there, but as I complete that thought with the idea of this reciprocal nature, that directly ties into Leo season. And one of the last notes that I was making before I started this was the axis between, and that's AXIS, like the actual axis in the sky. So if you're looking in the sky, it's like a pie or like a pizza, and each slice of pie or slice of pizza is a zodiac sign. So each zodiac sign has an opposite sign, and that is called the axis. So the Leo axis is shared with Aquarius. And what is so beautiful about that is that Leo represents individuality and Aquarius represents community. So there's this reciprocal nature between who we are as an individual and how we show up for the collective that then inspires and influences the collective and the community, which then feeds back into us as an individual. So you being a member of the community creates an energy, and then that community pours back into you as an individual because of your contribution. So you give and you receive, and the community gives and receives, and that is how we balance out this access. So without one of those parts, the other one intrinsically fails. Without you showing up as yourself, how could community build itself around you? It can't. How can you be involved in community if you refuse to show up? Like you can't. You would just be alone. As humans, we are not designed to be alone. As humans, we do not want to be alone. And as somebody who is an introverted extrovert, I totally understand this balance between I do have something to say, I have something to share, and I am very happy and willing to do it because it is definitely in line with who I am as an individual. And then there's also this other layer of it that is like, I need my alone time as an individual. I need my alone time to process, to get away from everything so that I can really fill my own cup. And then when I return to the community, being me in my service, I have more energy and presence, and I can be who I need to be, who I'm meant to be, while in connection with others. So if I don't show up to community, how is it that I'm supposed to connect with, inspire, or help shape the community that I am meant to be a part of? So a lot of us really in this season may be reflecting on who we are and how we show up in community. There's something to be said about that because we will have a Mercury retrograde happening towards the end of this season. And I want to actually get the date for it. Just one second. Sorry, if this is your first Leo season workshop and you're like, this doesn't feel very Leo season like, it'll get there. I'm gonna get into all of the like, classic conversational pieces about Leo and about how that energy will be influencing us this season and how we can use it. But like everything I do, I'm first and foremost a channeler or an intuitive. So as I'm talking, what's coming through is what the collective energies are right now and what we are meant to be hearing in this moment. So yeah, this may not be what you had expected to hear. However, this is what is needed for us to all understand about what we are going to be moving through for the next 30-day cycle. Let me just find the dates here. Mercury stations retrograde on August 5th. When Mercury begins his retrograde on August 5th, he will be in Virgo. So I'm going to have an entire Mercury retrograde workshop. I strongly suggest that you watch it. It will also be pay what you can or sliding scale or whatever. However, it's important because this year, Mercury will be retrograding in all of the fire signs. So Virgo is not a fire sign. You're right if you're saying that. Virgo is an earth sign, but Virgo is a mutable earth sign. So Virgo is very flexible. Virgo also is related to health and well-being. Virgo is related to our tangible habits and actions and behaviors. And Virgo helps us really reflect on the most efficient way to do something. So Virgo and Mercury are hand in hand because Mercury is the ruling planet of Virgo. Mercury is also the ruling planet of Gemini. But Mercury in Virgo is very strong. So when he goes retrograde, this is going to be an opportunity for us to start reflecting on our habits, our health, our process, etc. He will continue to retrograde through Virgo and he will enter Leo. This is going to be the Mercury retrograde in Leo cycle. And when that is happening, this is an opportunity for us to begin to reflect on everything that I was just describing at the start of this workshop, who you are and how you show up in community. It's also going to be asking you to reflect on how do you communicate who you are to the world around you. That's not just through spoken language, that is through frequency. So how do you show up in a room? Do you walk in with confidence in your ability that you can handle this project, this conversation? Are you confident in who you are, how you feel? Are you authentic? Are you sure of what your morals are, your ethics are, what your value systems are? And if so, are you willing to communicate that energetically, emotionally, verbally to the people around you? Are you willing to communicate that to the universe? Because as you enter a space, as you move through your day with the frequency of certainty, authenticity, confidence, knowing who you are and what you want to be doing and what direction you're moving in, when you're in that space, the universe has no other option but to respond and to match your vibration. The universe doesn't classify anything as good or bad. The universe actually doesn't know what good or bad is. The universe is not the judge of that. The universe is a reflective experience that will give you what you are vibrating. So if you are vibrating a certain frequency, the universe will match that frequency with a mirrored experience that is reflecting back to you your own frequency. So if you're like, I don't like this relationship, I don't like that this person lied to me, I don't like that this person manipulated me, I don't like that this person stole from me, I don't like that this person did A, B, C. Okay, great. Let's acknowledge that we don't like it. And then let's begin to fine tune our own frequency so that we can figure out, why did we attract this person into our life? And maybe for some of you, it's as simple as you didn't set the boundaries that at some point you recognized needed to be set, but you just didn't set them. And then it created a bit of a mess or whatever. So when we go through those experiences and the world is reflecting back to us who we are, it gives us an opportunity to continue being that person or to change gears. When Mercury retrogrades in Leo, this is going to be an opportunity for us to change gears. And it's us changing gears about who we are and how we show up. So again, I'm going to dive deeper into this in the Mercury retrograde workshop. I'm going to just put that on pause for now, but this is going to be a very important retrograde. Now, Leo energy in itself is a fixed fire sign. So fire is about enthusiasm. Fire is about excitement. Fire is about joy and fun, and it's like travel and experiences. It wants to taste everything. It wants to consume. It wants to build heat through knowledge and learning and inspired action. Fire is very connected to passion, to sex, to anything that makes you just kind of fired up. It could express itself in anger and resentment. It could express itself in a defensive sort of like, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. And this is why, because that crosses a boundary, because I said no. Like that sort of, you know, that term, like, oh, you're getting really fired up. It's because like the heat is building in your body, you know, it's a very, is it chi energy? What the yin and yang is yin being calm and yang being fiery. Yeah. So yang energy is going to be that very like fiery energy. I want to actually Google that and see if is fire yang energy, because I feel like I'm just in Chinese philosophy, fire is the second phase of Wu Xing. That's Wuxing. Fire is a yang character, exactly. Its motion is expanded. Its energy is fermenting, ripening, and convective. Right. So fire is about that heat, the kinetic energy, the movement, the force in which something comes at you or leaves, or it can be destruction, it can be creation. Think about how passionate people are when they're making love, and then all of that sexual energy builds, and you know, it in some cases creates life, it creates a child. That same sexual energy is, if channeled in a different way, extremely creative. So Leo season can bring out a lot of that fire. It likely will bring out a lot of that fire. You may feel like you are a little bit more aggressive, you are a little more sexual, you're a little more creative, and it's all about how you channel that energy. Now, channeling that energy is super important in Leo season because Leo is a fixed fire sign. Fixed fire means it is loyal, it is committed, it is stuck in one place. It can be multiple places, multiple commitments, but that fire energy as a fixed fire sign like Leo, it's like a campfire is what imagery they're showing me. That campfire imagery first and foremost, it needs fuel. So what are you doing to fuel yourself up? What are you doing to fill your own cup? How can you commit to your own behaviors, your own experiences that actually make you feel inspired, curious, joyful, and bring all of that life force energy into your own being? That is what we're talking about when we talk about filling up your own cup. Things that don't fill you up, drama, gossip, lying, cheating, stealing, like any of this sort of shit, excessive drinking, excessive alcohol, excessive sex, excessive shopping, excessive eating, any sort of addictions, like all of those things, those are all energetic leaks. If you're noticing, especially because we've had some pretty intense energy through Cancer season, and for the last 3 months, actually, there's been a lot of supportive trines, which are activating energies that allow us to benefit through creating a new experience. It's a very supportive energy. We've been having that, but we've also been having a lot of energies with, like we recently had a square with Chiron, where the sun and Chiron were squaring each other. And a square is not very nice. A square is uncomfortable. This happened the same day that Mars and Uranus were conjunct in the sign of Taurus. So Mars and Uranus, they were together in the sign of Taurus. And that is explosive. That is breaking through old limitations, old fixed belief systems, old habits and routines. This is asking us to use our energy in different ways, to use our resources in different ways, to use our energy and our time in different ways, because we're trying to build a new life right now. We need to establish new routines and habits and a new foundation that will allow us to move forward in a more sustainable way, in a way that feels more comfortable for ourselves and for others. And maybe we've been giving in too much to pleasure or to outdated belief systems. Maybe you've been stuck in imposter syndrome for too long. And now this is an opportunity, especially in Leo season, to show up and be authentic and be excited about who you are and what you have to offer. And this is an opportunity for us to move forward in a new way. So again, when we look at that fixed fire energy, you're only going to be able to feel really good, really excited, really authentic when you're doing what you are here to do. And that is not going to make sense to everybody else. That's not going to make sense to your best friends sometimes. It's not going to make sense to your family. It's not always going to make sense to your lover or your partner or your kids or whatever, but it makes sense to you because on a soul level, on a energetic level, on a karmic and dharmic level, dharma being the path that has been chosen for you to walk, and you get to choose, am I really going to walk this path? I would say yes. And Leo season is the perfect time to do that. And when Mercury retrogrades into the sign of Leo, it's going to be an opportunity to reflect on, am I walking the path that I'm supposed to be walking? And if not, then I need to. I need to start making more available space so that I can follow this path. When you begin to follow the path, you feel better. You feel curious. You are in a flow state. A flow state fills you up. A flow state builds your life force energy. And when you commit to doing more of that, you will find that your campfire, your fixed fire, because you are fixed, committed to fueling your own fire, your fixed campfire will begin to burn bigger and bigger. What happens when a campfire gets nice and big? You bring more people in. You are a beacon of light in an otherwise dark field or forest or whatever. So you begin to attract people that want to reflect back to you the light that you are. You begin to bring strength because you can literally harness fire to use in ways that help build up things. So for example, if you take metal and you put it in the fire and you heat it to a high enough degree, you can bend that metal. You can begin to alchemize elements. You can begin to reshape resources to create tools, to create whatever it is that you're doing. But it allows you to harness that power and energy to then apply it to shape things in your life. You also you can cook food on a campfire, which means what? You can begin to nourish yourself because you are prioritizing yourself. Your life force energy is flowing. You are committed to authenticity and being who you are. It means you're attracting other people into your space, and together you begin to nourish each other. You can also, as I mentioned earlier, alchemize with fire. If you put a pot of water on top of the fire, it will eventually evaporate into mist. So any of those stuck emotions, which is water, if you're working with your emotions and you are feeling old triggers come up, you're feeling old shit coming up, but you choose intentionally to not go back into your old toxic habits, belief systems. You don't go out drinking and trying to not feel things. Instead, you just feel them. What happens in Leo season is you're true to yourself. You say, okay, I'm feeling this shit. I'm going to sit in this shit for a minute. This watery energy, which is our emotion, I'm going to sit in this fire and I'm going to allow it to bubble up and begin to alchemize it. Instead of going drinking, I'm going to go dancing. Instead of going shopping, I'm going to paint, or I'm going to cry, or I'm going to talk to somebody, and I'm going to move this energy. It allows you to take that water, that emotion, because water is tied to the emotions, and it allows you to use that fire, which is that heat and that expression, to combine the two and to change that water into steam. What happens when the steam rises? It just dissipates into air, and it just leaves your system. It empties the pot. So you have an opportunity to empty out those old stagnant emotions in this season by A, recognizing that they're there, and then B, choosing a different way to act on them. Once again, instead of going drinking, I'm going to go dancing because I'm feeling stressed, but I know if I move, if I sweat, if I jump up and down, if I laugh a little, that this energy I can change. This too shall pass. So this is the kind of energy that we work with when we're thinking about how to mix fixed earth energy, or sorry, fixed fire energy in a beneficial way through the use of creativity, sex. Again, you could use like sex magic right now would probably be a really good thing, which we could do a whole workshop on sex magic, but it's the, in a nutshell, when you go into it with the intention of what you want to create, whether you're like self-pleasuring or you're with a partner, but you have a goal, and as you are building towards your orgasm, you are holding that vision in your mind. You're holding the vibration of already having it, of what you want to create, of experiencing it. And then when you come to climax, you hold and you push out all of that energy towards that manifestation. And then you let it go and it begins to call it back in. So using that fiery energy, that passion, that sex drive in an intentional way. And I'm just going to draw a comparison right now. This is whatever, maybe this is like an uncomfortable conversation for some people. Just skip the next 20 seconds. But like a lot of people, whether you're straight, gay, lesbian, identify as a male, female, transgender, like however you identify, it really doesn't matter. Everybody at some point in their life experiences self-pleasure. And it's like what they do when they get to the point of orgasm is just like, oh, wow, that feels so good. And energetically, what's happening is all of this energy is building up, and then it just shoots all over the place. And it becomes just this like, almost like a firecracker of energy just shooting everywhere. And when you play with sex magic, when you focus on intentionally creating through the use of orgasm or pleasure. And I'm not talking about like actually like ejaculating or anything like that. I'm talking about orgasm. They're two separate things. When you hit that climax, you can actually hold that energy in and you can channel it at something and you can push it all out at that and it begins to bring it back into your field. So this is where, again, self-trust is really important, trusting your partner, making sure that your, mind, body, and soul are all sort of aligned with the intention that you want to get at. But this would be a good season for that. It really would. We're going to sidestep here for a second and talk about the ruling planet of Leo. So the ruling planet of Leo is the sun, which is not necessarily a planet, it's a star, but it is the biggest celestial body in our atmosphere or in our universe, sorry. The sun is bright as fuck. The sun can absolutely destroy you and can destroy land. It can destroy anything, really. It can burn it up. It also is like one of the key players in creation, one of the main players in creation, as is water, as is clean soil, et cetera, et cetera. But like when you look at the sun, like if the sun were to go out, the entire earth would just cease to exist. So think about the sun being you for a second. If you continue to not show up authentically, your real universe, like the world around you, it ceases to exist because you are not authentically showing up as yourself. You are showing up how you think others want you to show up. You are showing up wearing masks. You are showing up hiding yourself. You are showing up not speaking your truth, not expressing your creativity, not expressing your sexuality, not expressing your anger or your love or whatever it is, which means what? That you are being, in some ways, inauthentic, which means the world that is reflecting back to you is also, in some ways, not authentic. So if you are not showing up in your full essence, then the world around you is not showing up in its full essence. In the same way, if the sun were to die, the world dies. If you are dead right now inside because you are not showing up as you should be, then the world around you also is dead inside, so to speak. So this is an opportunity for you to begin to show up authentically, to stand in your power, and like the sun, shine. And when you do that, you will find that the world begins to shine back at you in an equally authentic way. Now, this is super important because it's harder for us to manifest things when we are not being authentic or when we are not asking for things that are authentically aligned with who we really are. If you're trying to manifest something because you think you should have the 2-car garage and the white picket fence and the 2 kids and the blah, 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 whatever, like you've been brainwashed to think or told to think, it's going to be a lot harder for you to manifest that because maybe for some of you, like you weren't supposed to have the white picket fence. Maybe you weren't even supposed to own a home. Maybe you were supposed to travel the world for your whole life. Maybe you were supposed to be a nomad and live in a van for the next 20 years and just, hit the beach and just chill the fuck out. And you don't need a mortgage and taxes and all this bullshit, It's like, I mean, we all need to pay taxes, but I feel like there's this way of being that all of us, and I still have layers of this that present themselves and I have to peel them off and push them away. But like there's a little part of all of us, and for some of us, it's a bigger part that is just like, I'm only doing this because this is what I think I have to do. So when you're trying to create a life based off of what you think you have to create, it's not authentic. Authenticity is like one of the most important vibrations to work with when you are trying to manifest, because if it really is meant for you and it's authentically aligned with who you are and what you are here to do, the resistance to receiving it is so low that things just naturally fall into place because you're in a flow state. When you are sitting there trying to manifest things that are outside of your natural authenticity because of something that someone else wants you to do, the level of deep resistance on a soul level and on a subconscious level, where your soul and your subconscious mind, who are talking constantly, are saying, what the fuck are you doing? You don't want to fucking be here. This is the dumbest fucking shit. You don't need another car. You don't need to marry this person. You don't need this fucking job. You don't even like this job. It's like, but then I'm sitting here trying to manifest the partner, trying to get the house, trying to get the promotion, because then I'm a good boy. Then I'm in the rat race and I'm doing everything that everyone else told me to fucking do with my life. It's like, that's not you. And a huge part of you doesn't even want to fucking be there doing that. So what the fuck are you doing it for? And like, because of that, then you get all disappointed because you're like, nothing's manifesting fast enough. And if it does, then it's not always right. And if it's, well, bitch, because it's not fucking meant for you. And just to like side note here for 1 second, some of you are 100% authentically aligned with being a parent in this lifetime, or a stay-at-home mom or dad, or whatever. Like, there really, really are some individuals whose lives are authentically aligned with being a stay-at-home mom, for example. And there is nothing wrong with that. I'm not trying to say that there's something wrong with that. I'm trying to say, if you are authentically aligned to be a creative nomad, traveling the world and gathering as much experience as you can on a soul level, but you're trying to shove that level of expansion into a tiny little box so that you can match the societal expectations of what you quote unquote should be doing, then it's like, it's never going to fucking happen for you. So this is where you need to really reflect on, how authentic are you living? If you can identify what authentic living means for you, and that might take some time, it might not, then begin to start carving out time for behaviors and mindsets and frequencies that align with that level of expression. So if you know, I'm supposed to be a fucking artist, does that mean you're going to be the next Banksy and you're going to be like the most famous artist in the world or whatever, or the next, I'm going to paint the Mona Lisa? Like, no, it doesn't mean that. But it means that right now there is something telling you that you should be a fucking artist right now in this moment. That will begin to open more doors, because something along the path of you starting to walk in the direction of being an artist, something down that path is really meant for you, and you will find it, it will click, and then everything else will begin to open up as you discover deeper who you are, because you're following the authentic calling internally. That is where you begin to build your fire. That is where you begin to build your community. That is where you show up authentically and you begin to shine like the sun. And that allows you to bring light into the world that you should be creating, and you allow the world to create itself around your light. Much like our earth circles around the sun, you have an opportunity to just shine, and by virtue of you shining, you will have enough gravitational pull that the earth will find you. The world that you're supposed to live within will find you based off of you shining authentically. The earth orbits the sun because of the gravitational pull of the sun's field, just by fucking being there and shining. So when you begin to just shine authentically, the right things will fall into orbit around you. The right people, the right opportunities, the right like everything, it just happens. This is where we need to find our flow. How do I find my flow? You move in the opposite direction of all of the friction in your life. So there is friction and there is flow. Friction is, I hate this fucking job. Friction is, if one more fucking person asks me for something, I'm gonna fucking snap. Friction is, I can't do this anymore. This partner never listens to me. These family members always judge me. Nobody thinks I'm fucking gonna ever make it. That's all coming out to me. It's just like friction is, I keep getting a no. I keep getting a no. I keep getting a no. Then it's like, okay, then accept the no, turn directions, pivot, and try something different. You will begin to get a yes. You will begin to get ease. And like, you'll be surprised that like, oh, whoa, this just happened. That's crazy. It's like, well, it's not crazy. It's mirroring back to you the world that you should be living in when you are showing up authentically and saying what you need and who you are. Now, for a lot of the people watching this, likely the ones that are just finding me now or have only sort of more recently been following, or if you've been just sort of only starting to discover your like spiritual awakening and path or whatever you want to call it, you're going to go through a moment of like, oh my God, I hate these things about my life and I want to change them. And then you're going to be like, okay, so I need to start finding more flow, being more creative. I need to start thinking in a new way, changing my vibration through what I'm eating, what I'm watching, what I'm talking about, my perspectives, my behaviors, like all these little things, they fine tune my frequency, and then I can start attracting the new things. And then you'll get into that, and maybe a few little Easter eggs show up, showing you that you're on the right path, but then it doesn't happen soon enough. And all of a sudden it's like, fuck this. This is bullshit. Chris doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm just going to go back to my old life because it's comfortable. It's easy, blah, blah, blah. Don't give up on yourself because it gets difficult when your 3D reality has not yet matched your internal changes. The external world is always the last thing to show up in manifestation. The changes have to happen on an energetic level first, and then mentally, and then intentionally, and then emotionally. All of that is tied to it being a spiritual experience. And then physically, things will start to change. But what happens is people don't give it enough time. If you think about the moon cycles, the time between the Leo new moon and the Leo full moon is 6 months. So give yourself from the Leo new moon, which is going to ask you to be fully fucking honest about the life that you want to lead. This is going to be August 4th, new moon in Leo. It trines the North Node in Aries. So as I said earlier, a trine is super beneficial. The North Node in Aries is showing us who we are meant to be. Now, a new moon in Leo is asking you to be authentic and honest about who you are meant to be. And the North Node in Aries is trying to show you who the fuck you're supposed to be. The North Node is a point of fate and destiny. It's the direction we are moving in for the next chapter and the next cycle of our lives. This is also sextiling Jupiter and Gemini. So this has a very supportive experience with Jupiter in Gemini. Jupiter is very, very lucky. A sextile is very lucky. A trine is very lucky. And all of this is happening on the new moon. So luck is on your side if you can stand in your power and be authentic about who the fuck you really are when you peel off all of the layers, when you take off the mask, when you remove the expectations, when you remove the imposter syndrome, when you remove the fear, when you get rid of all that shit, you can say, okay, I'm going to be honest with myself about who I am and what I want for my life and the life that I want to create. And this North Node in Aries is showing me that this is a point of destiny. This is a point of fate. This is the direction that things are moving in. And Jupiter in Gemini is bringing me a lot of luck in community, because Gemini is also connected to community. It's bringing me a lot of luck in asking new questions. It's bringing me a lot of luck in communicating around me, to everyone around me, to the universe around me, communicating who I really am. And this is all happening when we have an opportunity to set the intentions under a new moon in Leo. You get to set an intention to show up as your new authentic self. And then the full moon in Leo is 6 months later. So you can spend the next 6 months practicing the new version of yourself. 6 months will fucking fly by, bitch. It's already fucking August. You know what I mean? It's like, this is crazy. Like, 6 months will fly by. So just commit to the daily practice, the affirmations, living life from the heart, from your true authentic self, and watch as things begin to, first and foremost, fall away. Because when you are authentic, if you are in true authenticity, everything that is fake and phony and doesn't really align with your authenticity, it's going to fall away. So get ready to lose some friends. Get ready to maybe lose your job or feel like you want to quit your job. Get ready to maybe change your apartment. Maybe you want to redecorate. Maybe you want to move. Maybe you want to just sell everything and go to a new country. Like, get ready for it. And get ready to have a fucking meltdown when you're like, holy shit, I thought these were my friends. I thought I liked this job. I thought this is how I wanted to look. And now you want to change your look. People are responding differently to you. You're going to feel lonely for a second. You're going to feel scared for a second. You're going to feel under a lot of pressure and stressed for a second. Good. Because pressure builds diamonds, and diamonds shine. And what else fucking shines? The sun. And when the sun is shining, what happens? It calls things into its orbit, and it begins to build an entire new universe. That is what you are doing. For you to build a new universe, you have to let go of your old universe. It doesn't feel nice, especially in Leo season, because Leo season is a fixed sign. Leo season is a fixed energy. Fixed energy likes comfort. It likes safety. It likes what it likes. It doesn't want change. It doesn't want a lot of risk. It doesn't want, ooh, I don't know about this. Should we chance it? Should I just take a chance on myself? No, Leo wants to be like, fuck no, I'm staying in my home. I like my home. This is safe. And like, our ego, our mind, just as a survival technique, always wants to be in control. Fixed signs love to be in control. Have you ever met a Taurus? Like, fuck, I'm just kidding. I love Taurus energy. My brother's a Taurus, but like, they want to be in control. And it's like, when we are out of control, we can feel grossly uncomfortable. The opposite of control is surrender in some ways, but it is also intentional action, because control is an impulse. Control is an impulse that is based off of a vibration of fear. And fear is where your mind is saying, I don't know how this is going to end, so I want to control as much of this as possible. So I'm going to keep you as best I can in a familiar hellhole. Although this is uncomfortable, it's my comfort zone. I know how to navigate it. I fucking hate it here, but I can understand, and I can expect the results that are coming, even if they're not good results. So that gives me a sense of control. So I'll stay here. Surrender is about letting go of that and just trusting the natural flow of things. Surrender and intentional action is about saying, I'm uncomfortable, but I'm going to go in the opposite direction anyways, because the opposite direction is likely to bring me into a more authentic lifestyle, which will inevitably bring me into an unknown heaven. And that'll feel really nice. But your mind, as a survival technique, will always keep you in a familiar hell and not let you choose an unfamiliar heaven, because it doesn't know what that's going to feel like. It doesn't know how to take control of that situation. So it'd rather you stay here. So make sure that you're not falling into the ego trap of staying put in this space, although you fucking hate it and you're not being authentic and it's what other people wanted you to do. But it's a hellhole that I can understand what's going to happen. I know how to navigate this. Just because you know how to navigate chaos doesn't mean you have to continue to navigate chaos. You can go find peace elsewhere. It'll feel uncomfortable. Your life will likely fall apart in some ways, but it will always come together better. And the universe loves to see that we're willing to trust that. The universe loves to see that we are willing to take a chance on ourselves. And when we do that, when we jump, the universe will always catch us every time. I have never in my life truly ever jumped and took a chance and it just like totally shit the bed. It was a fucking awful decision. I've never done that. It always turns out 10 times better than it should. Like even my choice to stay in Portugal during the pandemic, for example, like now I live here, my fucking online business exploded. I've built Wheelhouse. I have like an amazing apartment. Like all of this came from me being like, I'm going to just take a chance and stay. Had I gone back to Canada, I would have fallen back into my comfort zone. I would be going back into my old lifestyle. It would have been completely different. And it's like, this is an opportunity for us to be like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. So take the opportunity. Okay, we're going to do a meditation in a second. The last couple notes here that I have are, so Leo rules the heart and the upper back and the spine. So this is about like standing in your power and like open up. Lead with the heart first, like be proud, speak the fuck up, and like walk into a room like you're gonna fucking command it. You know what I mean? We will also have Venus in Leo for the majority of Leo season, if not all of it. And Venus in Leo is going to be really, really nice because Venus in Leo is a sign of fun, flirtatious energy, creative energy. It can be sexy energy. It's about comfort and divine feminine energy and opportunity to receive. So this is really nice for us. Leo rules the 5th house in astrology. So some of the key words here that we'll be working with for the next 30 days or so is joy, creativity, play, romance, pleasure, art and children and curiosity. This is like, you know, the higher vibrational elements of Leo. The lower vibrational elements of Leo can be ego. So watch your fucking ego. It can be thinking that you're always right. It can be taking up too much space. It can be a little aggressive and not giving other people the space to express themselves because Leo always wants to steal the spotlight. It can be an opportunity to shine, but then sometimes, like music, for example, music is a rise and fall of sounds and instruments. And it only works when everything is harmonizing together. It only works when everything is flowing together. And it only works when each instrument is, my God, sorry, my cat is going crazy. It only works when each instrument is playing its tune at the right time. However, there's oftentimes for a solo, there's oftentimes for that instrument to hit its notes perfectly, but it's still part of the collective experience. So Leo energy needs to be you hitting your notes perfectly, expressing yourself fully. You're putting a full breath behind the tuba or whatever you're fucking playing. And when it's your chance to just like, then go for it. But if you're just for the full 3 minutes, like we don't fucking hear anything else, bitch. It's like, shut up for a second, you know? So this is where we need to like just balance things out. Remember, Aquarius on one side, Leo on the other. Leo feeds into community and community supports the individual, and it's a balance. You can't just have all individual and all day long, everybody just thinks they're right and everybody wants to be heard the whole time. Like, it's just a fucking mess. So keep that in mind. The other thing is that August is the number 8. 2024 is also the number 8. And the strength card in tarot, which represents the Leo energy, is also the number 8. So the number 8 is very strong this month. We typically have like the Lion's Gate portal is what they call it. It doesn't actually fully align on that date, but 8/8 is a really significant day because 8 is an energy as above, so below. I talk about this a lot in the 2024 tarot forecast, which actually it's 50% off right now too, because we're halfway through the year. So if you guys haven't watched the 2024 tarot forecast, I would strongly suggest watching it. It's fucking awesome. And there's a lot of information in there, and we talk about the numerology of 2024. So that is where the 8 comes up. This is as above, so below. And this is an opportunity for us to, again, connect with who we're meant to be on a soul level and to express that authentically. I forgot that I didn't pull any tarot cards, so I just pulled 2, and they are both major arcana, which is signs of fate and destiny. Remember, we talked about the new moon will be working with the North Node in Aries. And the North Node in Aries is also fate and destiny. So this is an opportunity for us to really, really follow our gut. Now, the 2 cards that I pulled, we've got the Hermit and we've got the Sun. Okay, the Hermit is connected to Virgo energy, and the Sun is connected to Leo energy. Remember, we talked about Mercury retrograde. He will be retrograde in Virgo, and then he will retrograde in Leo. So, of course, these 2 cards came up. The Sun is about joy and curiosity. The Sun is about finding flow. This is a naked baby on a horse just galloping down the street. Like, he's having a great fucking time because he's just being as authentic as possible. This is the joy that we can find when we are authentic. How do we do that, and where does it lead? I don't know. It's only going to make sense to you. And that's what this Hermit card is all about. Trusting your gut. Because as you begin to live authentically and trust the path that is opening up before you, it only makes sense to you. And it's only supposed to make sense to you. And you can really only see 2 or 3 steps ahead, which is why this lantern is all he has. And that's all that is guiding him through the dark. He can't see 100 steps, 2 kilometers ahead. He doesn't know where the fuck he's going, but he's trusting his gut. This is what we have to do. And we can only trust ourselves when we're authentically aligned with what we think we need to be doing. Not what we think our mom or society wants us to do, but what we really think. I think I just need to get rid of everything. I think I just need to try something new. I think I need to leave this relationship. Yeah. Where is it going to lead? I don't fucking know, but it will lead you in the right direction. I will fucking tell you that. Okay. I can't believe I pulled these cards, and we just talked about all of that retrograde stuff. Like, this is literally Virgo and Leo, and the retrograde is all about finding authenticity. Like, it's, of course we pulled those. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. We're going to do a quick meditation, and then we're done here. Also, if you are in America or North America, I believe it's going into print as well, but I just did an interview with People magazine. We can find it online. And I talked all about Leo season, and we talk about which signs are really well aligned romantically with Leos. We talked about some Leo celebrities. We talked about a bunch of stuff. So yeah, just Google online, People magazine, Leo season, Chris Corsini, and it'll probably bring up the article. And check that out, because that was a cool little thing that we just did. Okay, we're going to do a meditation, so you can just close your eyes. You can come back to this meditation anytime. This is just going to be a bit of a taster, and I want you to just be able to practice this at any point in time. So let's just take a deep inhale And then we hold it at the top for a second. And then just exhale it all out. Maybe one more breath in. Really relaxing and letting it all out. And now I want you to just think about feeling safe being yourself. So you can just fake it until you make it, you know what I mean? But really feel in your body the emotion of safety. If you have a hard time visualizing or feeling that, just tell yourself, I'm safe. I am safe to be me. And I want you to just go through a couple of these ideas and to feel the safety in your body as we move through each one of these ideas. So I am safe to speak up. I am safe to speak my truth. And I want you to imagine speaking up, standing in your power, saying your truth. And while you're doing that, feel confident. Feel the emotion of, ah, that feels good. I'm saying what I need to say. I'm confident about it, and I'm speaking my truth. And feel that in your emotional body, because that is what pulls it in like a magnet into our experience. And then think about how safe it feels to express yourself creatively or sexually. I'm so safe to be able to just express myself. I want you to say that I am safe to take up space. I am safe to be perceived by others, to be heard, to be seen. I feel safe in my body when I am seen. I want you to say, I feel safe shining my light, and feel that. Feel a light come from inside your body and just expand in all ways. And that light represents you speaking up, your creative flow, your self-expression. You're just illuminating that light. And then once you feel that light growing, bring your attention back to your body and commit to an emotional feeling of safety, an energetic feeling of safety in your body for a second. And now while we're in this space, say something like, by speaking up, by expressing myself fully, I am in alignment with abundance. And now I want you to start feeling all of that abundance flowing towards you. So start feeling grateful for opportunities that are coming your way. Feel grateful for the natural flow of things. Maybe smile for a second and feel joy and ease. I want you to feel expansive financially, that you have enough money, that you are financially independent, that you can share, that you can donate money. Just feel that you have enough resources. And now set the energetic awareness that all of this came to you because you are being authentically you. So your authenticity leads to authentic expression. It leads to flow and opportunities, which supports you in being more authentic. And that cycle begins. And feel that energetic cycle, that flow, and just expand in that energy, giving it gratitude because it is there. And then when you're ready, let's just take a deep inhale and lock that into our energetic field. So we can just inhale as we lock it into our subconscious mind. And then we exhale. And when you're ready, bring some gentle movement back into your body. If you want to stay in this space with your eyes closed and feel into that energy more, you can do that. I'm going to disconnect. I suggest that you go and take a look at the workbook. It was included in the download. It should be in your members area somewhere. If you can't find it, just reach out to us. There's a spot on the website where you can contact us. And yeah, I just want to give gratitude once again for being here and investing into yourself by investing into these workshops and programs. I want to thank Amanda, the interpreter, for being here. And I guess that's it. So I'm going to sign off now, and I will see you guys at the new moon workshop or the full moon workshop, and maybe at the Mercury retrograde workshop. Okay, so I'll chat soon, and goodbye.